The Galactic Combat Academy had trained warriors from 700 species across 4 spiral arms of the galaxy. In its 3,000-year history, it had never encountered anyone quite like Lisa Chen. Instructor Vorlax, a towering Cretan with 4 arms and scales that shimmered like polished obsidian, watched the human female move through the obstacle course with growing unease. She didn't speak. She never spoke. Not during roll call, not during tactical briefings, not even when directly questioned. She simply nodded, made eye contact, and proceeded to dismantle every challenge placed before her with methodical precision. Subject performs adequately, Vorlax dictated into his neural recorder, though adequate was a gross understatement. The human, designation Lisa Chen, age 22 standard years, had just completed the Vexnar Gauntlet in 4 minutes and 37 seconds. The previous record, held by a Threnodian shock trooper with genetically enhanced reflexes, was 6 minutes and 12 seconds. She had done it in silence. Laura K. Artesh, the Academy's xenopsychology specialist and one of the few non-combat instructors, leaned against the observation deck's railing. His species, the Melodians, were renowned for their empathic abilities and their musical communication. Every living being produced some kind of psychic resonance, a song of the soul, they called it. But when Laura focused his senses on the human female below, he heard something that made his blood run cold. Nothing. Not silence in the absence of sound, but a void so complete it was as if Lisa Chen existed in a pocket of space-time separate from the rest of reality. No fear, no pride, no aggression, just a blank space where a person should be, moving with the efficiency of a machine and the adaptability of water. "She's not human," Laura said quietly. Vorlax's mandibles clicked in disagreement. Genetic scan confirms 99.97% baseline human DNA. The remaining variance is within acceptable parameters for regional adaptation. She is human, Laura, just different. Different doesn't begin to cover it. Laura pulled up her file on his holopad. Look at her background. Orphaned at age 7 in the Titan colony disaster. Survived alone in the wreckage for 19 days before rescue teams found her. No trauma markers, no psychological damage on record. She just adapted. Many species adapt to survive. Not like this. Laura's fingers danced across the holopad, pulling up training footage from the past 6 weeks. Watch this. Day 3, hand-to-hand combat assessment. The hologram projected into the space between them. Lisa stood in the combat ring, facing off against a Vorgathian berserker, 8 feet of muscle, claws, and barely controlled rage. The creature was used to test advanced cadets, not first-week trainees. Someone had made an error in the scheduling algorithm. Or so they thought. The berserker charged. Lisa didn't move until the last possible second, then pivoted on her left foot, letting the creature's momentum carry it past her. As it stumbled, she struck. A single palm strike to the cluster of nerve endings at the base of the Vorgathian skull. It collapsed instantly, unconscious before it hit the mat. She knew, Laura whispered. She knew exactly where to hit. Vorgathian anatomy isn't in the standard database for first-week cadets. It's restricted to advanced xenobiology courses. Vorlax's scales darkened, a sign of troubled thoughts among his people. Perhaps she studied ahead. Then explain this. Laura pulled up another file. Week 4, zero-gravity tactical simulation. Her team was supposed to extract a hostage from a derelict station while under fire from hostile drones. The scenario is designed to be unwinnable. It teaches cadets how to manage failure and make tactical retreats. The footage showed Lisa floating in the simulated environment, her 6 teammates scattered around her. Enemy drones swarmed from 3 directions. The other cadets were panicking, firing wildly, burning through ammunition they would need later. Lisa closed her eyes. For 5 seconds, she hung motionless in the void. Then her eyes opened, and she moved. She didn't swim through zero-G like the others. She existed in it, as if gravity was merely a suggestion she had chosen to ignore. She redirected a teammate's wild shot to disable one drone, used the debris from the explosion to create a debris field that blinded the sensors of 3 more, and physically pushed 2 of her teammates into position to create a perfect crossfire that eliminated the remaining threats. The entire engagement lasted 47 seconds. They extracted the hostage with 0 casualties and 94% ammunition reserves remaining. And she never said a word, Vorlax observed. How did she coordinate her team? Hand signals, eye contact, body language. She made them understand without speech. Laura zoomed in on Lisa's face in the footage. Her expression was calm, almost serene, but her eyes were calculating trajectories, assessing threats, running probability matrices faster than the Academy's combat computers. Over the following weeks, the pattern continued. Lisa Chen never spoke, never socialized, never showed emotion. But she won. She won everything. Combat scenarios, tactical puzzles, leadership exercises, survival challenges. She approached each with the same eerie silence and devastating competence. The breaking point came during week 9. The Crucible was the Academy's final exam, a full-scale war game conducted on a planet-sized simulation. 200 cadets divided into 4 teams, fighting for control of strategic objectives over a 72-hour period. Veterans of the Crucible spoke of it in hushed tones. Alliances formed and shattered. Heroes emerged and fell. It was as close to real war as the Academy could legally create. Lisa's team was designated Red Squad. They were given the weakest starting position, the fewest resources, and a mixture of the least promising cadets from various species. It was random assignment, but the odds were brutal. Vorlax and Laura watched from the command center as the exercise began. For the first 6 hours, Lisa did nothing. While other teams rushed to secure resources and territory, Red Squad remained at their starting position. Lisa sat on a rock, eyes closed, seemingly meditating while her frustrated teammates argued about what to do. "She's given up," Vorlax said. "Even she has limits." Then, as hour 7 began, Lisa stood. She walked to her team and began drawing in the dirt with a stick. No words, just lines and symbols. Her teammates gathered around, watching. One by one, their expressions changed from confusion to understanding to something like awe. Over the next 66 hours, Red Squad executed the most brilliant military campaign in Crucible history. They didn't fight, not at first. They manipulated. They maneuvered. They made the other 3 teams fight each other while Red Squad quietly accumulated resources, secured defendable positions, and waited. When they finally struck, it was with such precision and coordination that the other teams didn't realize they had lost until it was over. Lisa had turned her squad of misfits into a surgical strike force that operated with a single unified purpose. And she had done it all without speaking a single word. In the aftermath, as awards were distributed and cadets celebrated or nursed their wounded pride, Vorlax and Laura met in a secured conference room. Between them floated a holographic assessment report, marked with the highest security classification. "The Council wants a recommendation," Vorlax said heavily. "Do we graduate her?" Laura was silent for a long moment. "She's not dangerous because she's skilled, Vorlax. She's dangerous because she's empty. There's no ideology to predict, no emotion to exploit, no desire we can understand. She doesn't fight for glory or honor or even survival. She just wins because that's what's required. And if we refuse to graduate her, then we make an enemy of the most dangerous human we've ever encountered." Laura pulled up the final statistic from the Crucible. In 72 hours of combat simulation, Lisa Chen had not killed a single opponent. Every move had been precisely calculated to disable, disarm, or demoralize. She had won a war without taking a life. That should have been reassuring. Instead, it was terrifying. It meant she had been holding back. It meant everything they had seen was her operating at a fraction of her capability. It meant she had limits she had chosen not to reveal. "What do we tell the council?" Vorlex asked. Laura looked at the empty void where Lisa's psychic presence should have been and made his decision. "We tell them the truth. We've trained hundreds of warriors. We've produced generals, champions, and heroes. But Lisa Chen is something else entirely. She's not a warrior. She's not a weapon." "Then what is she?" Laura met his colleague's eyes. "She's what humanity becomes when survival is the only language that matters. And if we're wise, we'll make sure she's on our side when the real wars begin." The report was filed with a single designation that would follow Lisa Chen for the rest of her career: Galaxy-class threat level. Not because of what she had done, but because of what she could do if she ever decided the silence had gone on long enough.